What's up, everyone, and welcome back to Miss Azriel's Gaming. So today we're going to jump into a new game. It's called The Test Reality Check. Now, one of the devs had reached out to me about letting me know that this game had come out and trying it out. And I have played games from the devs in the past. They are also on my channel, and one of them is called A Work of Art, which was a really, really good game, and I wish it had just been a little bit longer because I enjoyed it a lot. And I also did one called Familiar Friends, What's Your Familiar? And both are a little bit different. The Familiar Friends was kind of like one of those where it asked you certain questions, and based off of how you answered the questions, you got a certain type of familiar. And then the Work of Art one was like a horror RPG type game, and it was just a lot of fun. So we're going to go ahead and get started into this one, and I'm very curious about this painting here. This phase is just amazing to me. So let's go ahead and start a new game. Okay, so it says, warning, this experience is not for those easily offended. This experience offers many things you may not wish to hear and simply may not be able to handle. Player discretion is advised. I can handle anything. It takes a lot to really offend me. Okay, so it uses autosave. Okay, so it said, think hard before locking in your choices and take the time to analyze your answers before making a decision. If you make a mistake or decide to change your mind later, there's no going back and your answer will be locked in for the session. Okay, so this is another one where I answer certain questions. Okay, so this is intentional and you've been advised. Okay, so Diary of the Madman. Now, Diary of the Madman's come up before in quite a few of the games. Humanity is the only disease that can cure itself. You haphazardly place one foot in front of the other and wander aimlessly through the void. Inside of the inside. You twist and tumble and fall through the twisting abyss until your essence is scattered beyond the unknown. Voice of Reason. Well, hello there. I guess since you've arrived, we should jump right into things. If you've been here before, you know exactly what this is. If you're new here, then behold. I'm about to ask you a fuckload of overly personal questions, and you're going to provide me with very simple answers using absolutely no context whatsoever, other than the context your mind creates for itself. I may ask you questions that feel very similar to those previous, or perhaps they could appear to be the same question but worded in a slightly different way. Think carefully before answering each and every question. Sometimes our mind will pick up on subtle differences that could change your answer entirely or shed light on a new perspective. By the end of this, the goal is to walk away from this experience feeling as though you've gained something. But maybe you won't. I'm not a fortune teller. I can't see the future. No, but you're pretty badass looking. Either way, you're going to take away whatever you wish to take away from this experience. And that might be positive, and it may not. With that being said, I should be able to get a pretty decent understanding of you as a person as long as you're 100% honest with all your answers. If you lie about anything, you're only hurting yourself here, so make yourself comfortable with being uncomfortable. This is not an experience for the sensitive. This is not an experience for deafened ears and closed minds. This is an opportunity for growth, and growth only comes from discomfort. How does it work, you might be wondering? Fucking magic, I guess. Not really, though. I'm going to tell you a bunch of shit that your mind probably already knows, but perhaps rests at the back of your consciousness, rather than the ever so useful forefront where you may access it on a regular basis. Hopefully you'll find this experience useful in some way, but if you don't, then just remember. You get what you pay for, and it doesn't appear that I'm getting paid by the hour to put up with your bullshit. Just rude, buddy. I'm here putting up with yours. Although I did choose to get this game, so maybe he is putting up with my bullshit. I don't know, is that one of the questions? If I'm putting up with the bullshit or you're putting up with it. If this resonates with you, then great. And if it doesn't, and you feel like your time would be better spent elsewhere, then I'm sure I'll read your annoying blog about it. Let's go ahead and get started, shall we? Here come the basic bitch questions to start with. We'll begin the process now. Do you believe you are living up to your full potential? Man, gotta start with a hard one like that. I mean, I think if I think about it, I probably could put more into a lot of things. Like a lot of people probably could, Sometimes you just have days where I'm just going to half-ass my potential for the day just to get through the work day or get through, everyday life or something like that. And, probably a lot of people aren't living to their full potential. To be honest, I mean, if you're living your full potential, you don't leave any room to grow. So I guess in reality, I would say I probably don't. And I still have room to, move up to my full potential. If you guys understand what I'm saying there. Because I feel like I could do more in a lot of aspects of my life. So I'm going to say no. Do you feel content with where you are in life? I would say so. I think I do. I mean, I know there's still things like, such as, for example, my YouTube channel. I would love to gain more followers. So am I content with the amount I have? I love you all. But I would love to grow as well. So, I wouldn't be content in that. But as for, certain things in my personal life, I would say I probably feel pretty content. I don't feel like I'm, necessarily missing anything. So I'll say yes to that one. Are you satisfied with how you spend your free time? I feel I am, because I do a lot of things, not just gaming. There are a lot of things that I do. Do you often reflect on your purpose? I don't know if I reflect on my purpose. I mean, maybe it's like one of those things I should do more of. But I don't think I just sit and think about the purpose of my life. I don't do that. I kind of just live my life. So I don't think I reflect very often. So I'll say no. Do you feel in control of your emotions? For the most part, I do. I mean, like most people, we probably have certain things that set off our emotions a little more than something else. Sometimes you can harden your emotions to certain things, and other times it's, something that you're over emotional about. But for the most part, I think, I feel like I'm in control of my emotions, so I'll say yes. Are you comfortable with change? I mean, for that, it's kind of yes or no. I feel some things I'm comfortable with changing and other things I'm not. Like my daughter getting older. I hate that so much. I wish she could just stay little forever. But I know she can't. And so I do hate that part of changing. But, on other things, I'm perfectly fine with change. I can deal with change when it comes. So I'll say yes. Do you seek approval from others more than you'd like? That one, I don't think I do now. When I was younger, maybe a kid and for sure in high school, I did. I was, wanting approval, from friends and, adults, teachers and stuff like that. I always was hoping for approval from that. But, when you get older, which I'm not that old, okay? I'm not in my 40s or anything like that, I'm not that old yet. I mean, I guess that's not really old either, but, it's funny because it reminded me of talking to a friend of mine, met from my channel, Demon. We made a joke because he's in his 40s, which it's okay. I can say that because he's admitted it on live streams. And it's just funny because somebody had referred to us as all being old, and they said something about us being in our 30s, and Demon's like, man, then I must be really old because I'm in my 40s. So it just reminded me of it. But, when you get older, it gets to the point you're like, I don't care. And I kind of feel like that. Either you like me or you don't like me. And, I'm not going to, be concerned about it all the time, because you got certain people in your life who, approve of you and, love you for who you are and accept you as a person. And, that's all you need. You don't need other people. You shouldn't worry about what other people think or what other people want, just like, they shouldn't bother with what you think or want. And, you only need approval from, the people that are important to you. And in most cases, they approve of the person that you are. So I'm going to say I do not. Do you believe your life has meaning? I do. And because usually if you don't, you don't want to live anymore. So I feel like my life does have meaning. Are you quick to forgive yourself? I know that one's a no. I'm not a person quick to forgive myself or other people. I was actually told by a close friend of mine once before that they would never want to get on my bad side or do something that upset me because I hold a grudge for a very long time. And I do tend to do that. That's a character flaw about myself. So I would say I'm not quick to forgive myself or other people. Do you prioritize your own needs regularly? No. I do not. As a mom, I definitely do not. So I'm going to go with no. Are you happy with your current relationships? I'd say most of them. I tend to stay away from relationships with people that can cause drama or cause, issues in your life and stuff like that. It's like I said, when you get older, you don't care anymore. So you just kind of want to live your life. And, if you've got people who, pick at you constantly, or say things to you constantly and stuff like that, man, just, ignore them. Just ignore them and, keep the relationships that you have, people that are close to you. So I would say I'm probably, for the most part, content with current relationships. Do you believe in second chances? I do. I do believe everybody, has a second chance. If you fail or if you do something wrong, I think people can have second chances. But in my opinion, you don't get a third one. Are you afraid of being alone? I know I was when I was younger, but now that I have, the friends that I have and my family and, especially my daughter, I'm not afraid of that. I'm not afraid of being alone, but I know I was for sure when I was younger. Do you dwell on past mistakes? God, yes, I do. Not even going to get into that one. I do dwell on a lot of past mistakes. Do you find it easy to open up to others? I do not. I'm an extremely shy person, and I am very shy until I get to know somebody really, really well. And that comes from a lot of things, I've had happen in my life. It comes from trusting people who you shouldn't trust. And, so I find it very difficult to open up to other people till I get to know them really well. Do you think you have a healthy work-life balance? I'd like to think I do. I'm pretty sure I do because, as most of you know, I do work full-time. And then I do my streaming and my recording when I have, free time to myself. So I think I do because I spend, a lot of my time with my daughter and my parents and stuff like that. And, but I would say I have a healthy, I think I do. Are you proud of your accomplishments? I am very proud of a lot of stuff that I've accomplished. And, I know with this YouTube channel, honestly, it's not something I would have normally have done. I don't put myself out there like that. I'm not an attention-seeking person. And, I just like to share what I love with other people. And, I love gaming because gaming's always been there. Gaming gets you through things. And, yeah, so I'm very proud of, a lot of things that I have, done and been able to accomplish, and, my daughter's one of those, raising her, my channel, getting a role in Reality Games Argus, even if it was a bit role, it was, like I said, it was like something I normally wouldn't do. And if I hadn't, just been brave enough and put myself out there, it never would have happened. And I like, it's like I like to tell my daughter, put yourself out there. Don't be afraid to do that. Because if you're afraid to do something, you might miss out on something extremely incredible in your life. And, if that's something that I can, say, to whoever's listening this far in, don't give up on anything so that you can get to the point where you put yourself out there and you can be proud of that accomplishment that you did, even if it's just like, something trivial, something small, maybe like, you don't like to be around other people, it makes you nervous, but you decided to go out somewhere around other people, even if it was just for 5 minutes, you accomplished something, you did that. So yeah, I'm fully proud of my accomplishments. Do you set goals for yourself regularly? I do, for the most part. Normally most of my goals revolve around my channel. Because that is the particular thing that I'm doing right now. I do set some life goals. Usually I set myself a smaller goal because I feel like if you set yourself a huge goal and you don't reach it as soon as you would like, you tend to get turned off from wanting to do that. So yeah, I definitely set goals for myself. Do you feel like you have a clear life direction? I feel I do. Do you believe in fate? I think I do. I think some people are fated to, do certain things. Like somewhere down the road, somebody's going to, have some kind of event in their life that changes it for the good, or it can change it for the worse. So I do believe that there are certain things in your life that are set for you, whether they, come the next couple days or they come in a week or even, a couple years. But I do feel that, I do feel like some things are fated. Do you value honesty above all others? 100%. It's just a joke I always say, you can call me a lot of things, but a liar is not one of them. And, I'm one of those people, honesty in all my relationships. I do not like people who lie to me. I dislike, and it disgusts me, and I can't. Honesty is a big deal to me. So yeah, it's 100%. I need honesty. Do you feel comfortable expressing your emotions? That's a tough one because that's a yes or no to me. I feel like it depends on the situation. Like if I'm alone, yeah, I can definitely do that. But say if I'm around my daughter and, something sad's happening or, something like that, I might hold my emotions back a little bit more. Or if I'm like with a best friend and, something's happened, I'm willing to express my emotions to that person. But like if I was near a total stranger, I'd be like, no, I'm not, I don't have any emotions at all. So, I'd like to say that I am. Are you a good listener? I'm 100% a good listener. I have a lot of people that share, things with me, life stories, things like that. And I've been told that's because I'm a good listener. I listen to people. I let them, as I call it, bitching sessions. I let people just vent. And, sometimes I don't even, give them advice. They're just like, I just need somebody to listen. And I'm like, I'm right there for you. Let's share this with me, tell me how you're feeling, and if you want my advice, I can give it. If not, I'm just here to listen. So I would say I am. Do you forgive easily? I do not. This came up earlier. I do not forgive easily. Are you driven by fear of failure? I am not. Do you like to take risks? Honestly, I'm not a big risk taker. I don't take risks very often. Because usually I'm more worried about the outcome, and I want a positive outcome. So sometimes I might overthink things, and then I don't go with whatever the risk is. So I would say I'm not a risky person. I don't do that. Do you value peace over excitement? I mean, I like some excitement, and then I like peace. But I feel like being kind of a more laid back person, I would probably value peace over excitement, but that's not to say that I don't enjoy, excitement. So I guess I would go, this is a tough one because this honestly would be a maybe for me. Because I feel like I like the relaxation of peace a little bit more over excitement or, spontaneity, I guess is another word that you could use for it. Like, this is kind of, in my mind, this question is like, are you spontaneous or do you kind of like plan things out? I am a planner. So maybe I do value peace over excitement because I know when I go somewhere, I'm like setting up an itinerary. When I take a trip, I'm like, this day we're doing this and this day we're doing this, because I like to have a schedule and I like to be a very orderly person. So I guess I would value peace over excitement. Do you prioritize self-improvement? I think self-improvement's a good thing, but I don't prioritize it over everything else. Because sometimes you just have to be a lazy slug, So, in a way to put that, I don't think it's something I prioritize. Like, I do try to do self-improvement, in things in my life, but it's not like my top priority. Like, my top priority, I just have other things that I feel like sometimes go over self-improvement. So I think that's also do you make time for yourself, which I think I do, but I don't think I prioritize self-improvement over it. So I'll say no. Are you kind to yourself in your thoughts? That's a tough one because I know, like many people, you usually talk to yourself really bad. And, I know a lot of people do that. I've had moments myself, where I don't say very kind things to myself. But I don't think it's like a constant thing. So to just outright say yes wouldn't be true, whereas outright and say no isn't true either, because we all have our moments, where you're like, you're lazy, or, you could do more, something like that. But for the most part, I think I am. Do you prefer stability over spontaneity? I mean, that kind of explains it with I have to have, like, scheduled things. I can be spontaneous, though. I can do stuff like that. But I am more of a planner. So usually I kind of like look for a partner who's spontaneous. Because if they're spontaneous, then I can be the stable one. So, like, he could plan a trip, and I could be like, okay, you're planning the trip, and while we're in the car, I'm, marking everything that we're going to be doing. So, I would say I prefer stability. Do you believe everyone deserves a second chance? Now, this was kind of actually already asked, where it said that, do you believe in second chances? Well, this one's saying, do you believe everyone deserves a second chance? I don't know. It depends on the person. And usually second chances are usually insinuated with, like, people who commit crimes. If you rob somebody or steal a car, something like that, I could see you getting a second chance. But if you're somebody who does things to women and children, I would never allot you a second chance, ever. And, I do believe that people can have second chances, but just for things like that, since, like I said, it normally comes with, people who commit crimes, do you think they deserve a second chance in society? And I think, people who do minimal type things definitely deserve a second chance, but there are some things that are just unforgivable, and you do not deserve a second chance. So even though I believe in them, I don't believe everyone deserves a second chance. So I'm going to say no on that one. Okay, do you find it easy to ask for help? I do not. I don't ask for help. I don't insert myself into things. Like if I have some friends that are playing a game, I don't go, and they're streaming, I don't go, can I play too? Like, I do not do that. It's just my personality. So it comes with the same thing as asking for help. I don't ask for help. Now, if somebody offers it, I will take you up on it. But it's not like I do not go and ask for help. Do you ever question your beliefs? No, I don't think that's something I do. My beliefs are my beliefs, just like somebody else's beliefs are theirs. And I don't feel that I ever have questioned my beliefs. Are you afraid of making big changes? I guess I could be, like to just like up and move to another state. That's a big change to me. I don't think I could do that. I wouldn't want to leave my parents, and I wouldn't want to take my daughter from them. And, it's just like a big change like that, like a life changing big change. I think I would be afraid of that. So I will say yes, I am. Do you feel a sense of community? I do. I surround myself, with people who I have a lot of things in common with. We don't always have everything in common. But I do. I do feel a sense of community. Are you comfortable with a vulnerability? Depending on who I'm around, I can be vulnerable. But like I've said before, like if it's somebody I don't know, or maybe somebody I've met once or twice, I would not be vulnerable around them. But somebody that I've known for quite some time, I feel like I could be. So I'm going to go off of that and say, like, if they were asking me, to be vulnerable around my best friend, could I do that? I could. I absolutely could. Do you believe you deserve happiness? I do. Everybody does. Do you keep most of your thoughts private? Oh, God. Yes, I do. Oh, my God. I bite my tongue on a lot of stuff, and I do. I keep a lot of my thoughts private, just from the sheer fact that, sometimes if you say things, it causes drama. So I, dealing with some people, like in work environment or, friend environment, sometimes there are just some things you keep to yourself, and you don't say, because it could usually come back to bite you. But for the most part, I keep most of my thoughts private, and I only share with certain like people I trust. I share things with people I trust, or I know people who are feeling the same thoughts that I am, and I will discuss those things. But yeah, I keep my thoughts private. Do you reflect on your dreams and goals often? I think I do. Are you patient with yourself? You know what? Probably not. I'm not the most patient person. I've developed a lot of patience being a mom, but, probably for myself, I would say no. Do you feel fulfilled in your career? We don't even want to start with that one. Not really, no. But, I stay there because they give me a flexible schedule. So if I need to take time off, they are always willing to give it to me because, as I've been told at my job, I am a trustworthy individual that they know they can count on. And they're very flexible with our time, when we can clock in. to start work, and, if I need time off for, say, my daughter, or I just need a day off, they're more than willing to give it to me. And a lot of places don't do that. But fulfilled, not so much. Do you feel grateful every day? I would say yes. Grateful to wake up, being healthy. Yeah. Do you feel empathy for others easily? I do. I empathize with people very easily. Especially, when they're going through a hard time, or, if it's something that I've experienced myself, I'm very empathetic towards that. Are you able to let go of past hurts? Dang, man, they were right about these questions. No. And the worst part about it is I have a slight photographic memory. It used to be better when I was younger, and then when I had my daughter, she basically absorbed it. So my memory, being able to memorize things in front of me isn't as good as it used to be, but I remember everything that has happened throughout my whole, my whole life for the most part, especially big events and stuff like that. I remember a lot of things, and having a really good memory sucks for that, because you remember all the good stuff and you remember all the bad stuff. And honestly, it's very hard to let go of, so I will say no. Do you hold yourself to high standards? I feel like I do, so I would say yes on that one. Do you believe people can truly change? Yes, I do. I think people can change if it's, something that they really want to work on and improve, and, stuff like that. So I think people can. Are you happy with your level of self-discipline? Honestly, I could probably be a little more self-disciplined. I'm not, unhappy with it, but, I could probably do a little bit more, so I'll say no on that one. Do you feel you have purpose in life? I do. Do you trust your intuition? I do. Are you open to new perspectives? I'd say I am. I like to try new things and, think about things, stuff like that. So I would say I'm open to new perspectives. All right, I think we're done with these ones for now. It's about time we move on to questions with a bit more substance. Are you kidding? There's more? Those didn't have substance? Don't be afraid to answer honestly here. Questions are only going to get more personal and in-depth as we go down this deep, dark rabbit hole of subconsciousness. Let's not waste any time. Here we go. Do you feel that you're truly seen and understood by those closest to you? I feel I am. I'm going to try to just answer these and not, go off on tangents. I am so sorry, because I have a tendency to do that when I go through my answer and trying to work out whether I think it's yes or no, so you guys will have to forgive me. Some of these I will just answer, and other ones I might go off on a tangent. So, are you at peace with choices you've made that changed the course of your life? I think so. You can't change choices that you've made in the past, whether you are happy about them or not. So, even though I can remember past hurts, it's also kind of made me who I am. So I feel that I can be at peace with choices that I've made, because I can't do anything about it. I can't go into the past. I don't have a time machine. So I would say yes. Do you believe you've healed from painful experiences in your past? For the most part. Not fully. But, I would say yes. I don't feel that I haven't healed any, so I would have to go with yes. Do you genuinely love yourself beyond your accomplishments or appearance? I would say I do. I know I have self-doubt and things like that sometimes, and, there are some things about me that I don't care for, like any human being, but for the most part, I do feel I genuinely love myself and what I've been able to accomplish and my appearance. Are you willing to confront uncomfortable truths about yourself? Oh, that's a tough one. I don't know if anybody wants to do that. I know it'll help you grow as a person, but Most people aren't going to be willing to do that. And honestly, I don't know if I'd be willing to do that. I don't know how many uncomfortable truths I have. um, but I mean, I'm going to go with no on that one. That one's kind of a tough one. Do you feel you're doing enough to make a difference in the world? I mean, I'm not really doing anything to make it like. I mean, I do the basic things like I try to be kind. You know, we all have our moments where we're not. I try to recycle. But I'm not like going out there and trying to make a big difference in the world. But I feel like for the world of people around me, I'm gonna take that question as that. I think I do. I would say yes. When you make mistakes, do you treat yourself with the same compassion you show others? Probably not. I don't think I do. Are you happy with the way you manage your time each day? Yeah, I'd say for the most part. Do you feel your relationships bring out the best in you? Yeah, I do. I try to surround myself by, people who like me, so I do feel that because, when you're around somebody who drags you down and, or says things to you, it doesn't bring out the best you. It can make you a different person. So I definitely feel like my relationships do that. Have you allowed yourself to dream big without feeling failure? Oh yeah, man, I dream big about everything. Sometimes it's probably a little overinflated, and I never fail in my dreams. I succeed at everything. Do you believe you're worthy of unconditional love? Yes, I feel that. I feel like everyone should be worthy of that. Are you proud of the way you respond to challenges? Yeah, I think so. I say so. Do you trust yourself to make difficult decisions? I do. Are you honest with yourself about the habits that hold you back? I don't really know if I have any habits that hold me back. I don't know if that sounds a little arrogant or something. But I can't really think any habits in my life that are preventing me from doing anything. So I guess yes. Do you feel inspired by the life you're building for yourself? I do. Are you willing to risk vulnerability to build closer connections? I suppose, yeah, I think I could. Do you allow yourself to feel a full range of emotions without shame? I do. I don't think I usually feel shame for expressing emotions. Do you think it's possible to live without regret? I don't think so. I think at some point in some time you're going to live with regret. You're going to do something you regret. So I don't think it's ever easy to live a life without it. Do you find joy in the small everyday moments of life? I do. Are you afraid of expressing your deepest dreams to others? No, I'm not. I've shared my dreams with a lot of people. Have you accepted aspects of yourself that you once struggled to embrace? I think I have. Are you open to changing your mind when presented with new perspectives? I believe I am. I like to consider myself an open-minded individual. So I would say, yeah, I do believe I am open to changing my mind when presented with new perspectives, as long as those perspectives are true. And you don't have somebody lying to you and, telling you something's this way, and you're like, oh, okay, I don't go along with it, I like to get all the facts and stuff about that, so I would say yes. Do you feel a deep sense of gratitude for where you are in life? Yeah. Are you able to recognize when you're pushing yourself too hard? Yeah, I see that. I can see when I push myself too hard, for sure. Do you seek external validation more often than you wish you did? I don't think I do. Like I said, when I was younger, I did. But now that I'm older, I don't care. So I would definitely say no. Have you forgiven those who may have hurt you deeply? No. Do you have a clear sense of what happiness means to you personally? I do. Are you content with the memories you're creating in life? I am. Do you often regret things you didn't say or do? 100%. Are you more critical of yourself than you are of others? I would say yes. Do you take time to celebrate your progress no matter how small? I think I do. My little achievements that I make, I like to celebrate those. Are you willing to let go of relationships that no longer serve you? It depends on by what they mean that no longer serve you. Are they talking about relationships that just aren't good for you? Or are they talking about you were using somebody for something and now that they can't help you with that anymore, you don't need them? I mean, because that's two different things. Because if it's a person who takes you down, I would say, that I would be willing to do that. But as I don't use people for things, that I wouldn't get rid of somebody because they weren't useful to me anymore, if I did use people for things. So I'm not really sure how to answer this one. I guess my answer would be no. Because I don't just throw people away because they can't do anything for me. So I guess the answer would be no. Do you feel that your life aligns with your core values? I do. Do you allow yourself to be fully present with the people you love? I do. Are you living a life that reflects what's most important to you? I feel I do. Do you believe that your current life path will lead you to fulfillment? I hope I do. I hope it does, so I would say I do. Are you willing to take risks to pursue your dreams, even if they seem impractical? Yes and no. I wouldn't just up and quit my job because I wanted to stream for a living. That's too big of a risk. That would risk my daughter's livelihood, would risk my livelihood. So it's not something that I would just jump and try. But, if it was something smaller, I might be, willing to do it. It is a tough one. I'm not sure if I would answer yes or no on that. I guess I would say no. Because if I look at it as the ultimate risk, like I said, I wouldn't quit my job and just hope that I made it as a streamer. So I guess I wouldn't be willing to take big risks to do something like that. Have you forgiven yourself for times you may have hurt others? Well, I would want the people to forgive me, but I'd say yes. I mean, I know everybody says or does stuff, and I know I have, that's not necessarily been kind. I don't dwell on it, and whoever the person was, I hope they could forgive me, and, hopefully, I forgive myself, and wouldn't just let it eat at me because I did that. But 9 times out of 10, if I've done something wrong, I usually apologize to the person. So I'm going to say yes. Do you make choices that honor your true needs, not just your wants? I feel I do. Are you satisfied with the way you express love to those around you? I am. Do you feel secure enough to be your authentic self even if others disapprove? Yes. Like I said, once you get to a certain point, you just don't care anymore. Are you able to recognize when something is no longer good for you? I hope I am. I think I am. We'll go with yes. Do you trust yourself to make the changes you know you need? I do. Are you willing to move forward without closure in situations that lack it? I would say yes, because most of the time You have to move forward regardless. You can't go back, to get closure. And dwelling on it doesn't help. So I would say, yes, I'm willing to do that. Do you feel that you're on a journey of growth and learning? I'd say yes. Are you able to recognize when you are self-sabotaging? Yeah. Do you find it easy to accept compliments and praise? Like I said before, I don't like to be the center of attention. But I don't, it's not a problem to me if somebody, compliments me or they give me a praise or something like that. It makes me really happy, where, it should make anybody really happy. If you just like compliments, something's wrong there. But I would say yes to that. Do you make an effort to understand and forgive yourself for your weaknesses? I like to think I do, so we'll go with yes. Are you willing to set boundaries even if it disappoints others? I am. 100%. Do you believe you deserve a life filled with joy, love, and peace? Yes, I feel like everybody deserves that. Interesting. I think I'm picking up on what you're putting down, homie. I believe I've already got a pretty good idea of what we're working with here. I just want to ask you one last set of questions to make sure we're completely locked in before I give my analysis. Good Lord, dude. This is a lot of questions. You can expect the same kind of questions as before, but with a bit more meat on the bone, if you will. Let's dive right in. Do you hide parts of yourself from others because you fear they wouldn't accept the real you? I do not. I'm usually pretty much an open book. There's nothing about me that I need to hide that I'm worried about anybody knowing. Is there someone from your past you still think about but pretend you don't? Yes. 100%. Do you truly believe you're deserving of the things you long for? I think everybody feels like that. Doesn't mean you should get them, because if you got everything you wanted, that would be a problem. But I think everybody thinks that, so I'm going to go with yes. Have you ever hurt someone you love simply because you were hurting yourself? I don't think so. I don't think that's ever been something I've done, so I'm going to go with no. Are you afraid of what might surface if you allow yourself to be completely alone with your thoughts? No. Do you ever feel like you're faking happiness to avoid burdening others? I have done that. It's not a constant thing, but, I have done that. But I'm going to answer no, since it's just been something like maybe having a bad day, or something like that. Or maybe if something didn't go quite like I had planned it, I would pretend to be happy. So, I'll say no. Is there a part of you that still feels undeserving of love? I don't think so. Have you ever sabotaged something good in your life out of fear it might end? I have never done that. Do you cling to certain relationships because you're afraid of what life might look like without them? I don't do that. Are you avoiding any truths about yourself because they're too painful to confront? I don't think so. This is one of those questions do I do that or don't I do that? I don't think I do. Do you ever worry that deep down you're not as good a person as you want to be? Yeah. I think that sometimes, maybe I feel like I wasn't kind enough or, good at something or something like that. It's not something I think about a lot of. But I'll say yes, because I feel like, since I do feel like that sometimes, it would probably be a yes answer. Is there something you want to say to someone, but you feel you never could? Yes. 100%, including this time and place right now. I do have that, but I feel like I never could tell them that, so. Do you stay busy to avoid reflecting on things you'd rather not face? I don't. Do you find yourself envying people who seem more confident or at peace? No, I don't think so. Have you ever felt completely and utterly alone? I have before. And since it's saying, have you ever? I guess I would have to go with yes, because I have felt like that before. It's not a constant, you know. It's something that happens, every now and then. Is there something you wish you could change about yourself but don't know how? No, I don't think so. Do you feel like you're a different person with different people, and does that make you feel inauthentic? No, the person you get is who you get. I'm not different with other people. Are you still angry about something from your past that you can't let go of? Yes. Do you believe that if people knew your deepest insecurities, they would judge you? No. Like I said, when I was younger, yes. Older, no. Have you ever stayed in a situation that hurt you just because it was familiar? Yes. Do you hold on to resentment because it's easier than confronting your pain? Oh, that's a tough one. Probably. Yeah, I'd probably say yes. Are there parts of your identity you've compromised for the sake of others' acceptance? No. Do you compare yourself to others and feel like you fall short? I do not, because you can't do that, because then you're never going to be, good enough, because everybody's different, and that's a good thing. If we were all the same, the world would be really super boring, so I'm going to go with no. Have you ever resented someone else's happiness or success? Maybe in some cases I have. Like I said, more so probably when I was younger. Like if I'd have a friend who was in a relationship and I wasn't at the time. I would resent that she was happy. But, other than just trivial teenage bullcrap, not really. But since it says, have you ever? I have. So I will say yes, but it's not like something that I do constantly. Are there things about yourself that you hide even from the people closest to you? No. Do you feel like you rely on validation from others to feel good about yourself? Nope. Have you ever put others' needs before your own to the point where it hurt you? No, I don't think so. Is there a memory you try to suppress because it still brings you shame or regret? It's like I said about having the memory. I remember everything. So I don't really suppress anything. But yeah, I would probably say yes with that. Do you ever feel that you have to earn the love and care of others? No. Are you afraid to ask for what you really want, fearing it might push people away? No. Do you sometimes feel like you're living a life you don't recognize or want? No. Is there a part of your personality you're ashamed of or try to hide? There is not. Do you avoid certain people or places because they bring up difficult memories? Yes, I have done that. Have you made decisions that made you unhappy because you wanted to please others? No. Are you afraid that who you are isn't enough for the people you love? No. Do you stay silent about things that truly matter to you to keep the peace? Yes, I do that. I've practically bit my tongue in half sometimes, including on something very recent. And, I do, because I don't want to bring the drama that it's gonna bring. So 100% I do that. Have you ever settled for less than you deserve because it felt safe? I don't know. That's a tough one. Maybe? So that one might be a yes. Do you feel resentment towards someone and haven't told them about how you truly feel? I have. I do. Do you struggle to accept praise because you don't believe it's truly deserved? I'd say no on that one. Is there a relationship in your life that drains you emotionally, but you feel guilty letting go of it? I don't think so. I can't really think of any because the ones that I've had, they are gone. So I would have to go with no. Do you feel like you need to pretend to be strong even when you're not? No, I don't think so. Are you afraid of letting people see you struggle? I don't think I'm afraid of it. I mean, I don't think anybody really likes to have people see them struggle, but it's not something I'm afraid of. Do you sometimes feel ashamed of the things you dream about or wish for? No. Have you held onto a grudge because it feels like your only power in a painful situation? That's probably yes. Do you feel you're living a life more focused on survival than fulfillment? No. Is there someone you feel you need to forgive, but you can't bring yourself to do it? Probably. Do you ever fear that your deepest fears of insecurity might be true? I don't think so. Are you afraid that the life you're living isn't truly your own? No. Have you ever wished you could start over completely and become someone else? Angsty teenager did. But no, not as an adult. Do you worry that you're not leaving the kind of legacy you want to be remembered by? No. All right. I think we're done here. After learning so much about you based on the answers you've provided, I can guarantee you one thing and one thing only. I'm about to drop some truth bombs on you, whether you like what I have to say or not. Oh no, ominous. This is the moment you've been waiting for. Open your mind, heart, and soul and listen well. My analysis is as follows. I see you there, buried under the weight of expectations. Yours, theirs, everyone's. You're trying so hard to be everything for everyone, and somewhere along the way, you've forgotten how to just be for yourself. You keep telling yourself you're fine, but deep down, there's this gnawing emptiness you can't quite name, like you're a stranger in your own life, playing a role you never actually signed up for. I know you feel like no one really sees you, not the real you. People see the helper, the fixer, the one who always has their shit together, but who's there for you when the cracks start to show? Let's be honest. You've gotten so used to putting everyone else first that the idea of prioritizing yourself feels selfish, but it's not. It's survival. You can't keep pouring from an empty cup and expect not to break. And I know why you do it. Why you keep saying yes, even when you're stretched too thin. You're scared that if you stop giving, people will stop needing you. You've tied your worth to how much you can do for others, and it's eating you alive. I wouldn't say that, but listen to me. Your value doesn't come from how useful you are to other people. You are worthy simply because you exist. You don't need to prove that to anyone, least of all yourself. And about those moments when you feel like you're not enough, when you think you're failing because you can't fix everything or make everyone happy, let me remind you, it's not your job to save the world. You're allowed to be tired. You're allowed to take a step back. You're allowed to say no without explaining yourself. Boundaries aren't walls. They're doors you can open and close to protect your peace. I know you're afraid of being seen as weak, but let me tell you, asking for help, admitting your struggles, showing the parts of yourself that aren't perfect, that's strength in its own rawest form. And let's talk about that perfectionism for a second. You've been holding yourself to these impossible standards, beating yourself up for every little mistake like it's the end of the world. But the truth is, perfection is a myth. It's the armor we wear when we're too scared to let people see who we really are. But you don't need that armor anymore. The people who truly care about you, they love you for your quirks, your flaws, your messy humanity. They don't need you to be perfect. They just need you to be you. And here's something else. It's okay to let go of the people who only take and never give. You don't have to keep proving yourself to those who don't appreciate you. You're not obligated to set yourself on fire to keep others warm. Start showing yourself the same kindness you so freely give to everyone else. You deserve compassion, forgiveness, and love, especially from yourself. You've carried so much for so long that you've forgotten what it feels like to be light. But you don't have to carry it all alone. You're allowed to put some of it down. You're allowed to rest. And one day, you'll realize that the world didn't fall apart when you chose to take care of yourself, that the people who matter will still be there, and those who aren't, well, maybe they were never really there to begin with. You're more than what you can do for others. You're a soul that deserves to be nurtured, a heart that deserves to be full, a person who deserves to take up space in this world without apology. So take a breath, a real one. Let it fill your lungs and remind you that you're still here, still fighting, still worthy of every good thing this life has to offer. You've got a lot of light in you that the world needs, but more importantly, you need it. Let it guide you back to yourself. You are enough, just as you are, and I believe in you with everything I've got. And when you finally start treating yourself like the miracle you are, you'll see that the love you've been so desperate to give away, it's been waiting for you to claim it all along. Don't let it pass you by. You're worth it, every last bit. One more thing. Your gifted word is healing. Hang on to this word. It will make sense by the end of the session. Whether you agree with my words or not, just know that my analysis is only half of the journey, and perhaps not even the most meaningful part of the journey as a whole. The question that you ask yourself in life are often more telling than answers. The journey is often far more rewarding than the destination, and the person who understands you better than anyone ever could is you. I hope this experience helps you moving forward, and I hope you're able to see the positive and use it to your advantages. You're on your own from here, and your destiny rests in your incredibly capable hands. Okay, thank you so much for taking the time to play the test reality check. We really hoped you enjoyed your experience. Much like many of our other experiences, this game can be replayed in future to get a different result. Feel free to play again and revisit the test after time has passed and see what fantastic things await you. As we do with all of our games, we would like to offer you an opportunity to be chosen as a character in our future games. We'd also like to do something very unique and special with the gifted word you've been given that's different from our previous projects, so keep reading. Many of the characters you see in our game are actually the names of players or names chosen by players from previous titles. If you wish to be a part of an upcoming title and have your name selected to be in the future game, please leave a comment for us with your gifted word included. But that's not all. We will also be selecting players, new and old, based on their gifted words to be part of something really special that we're working on, completely separate from naming characters. Participation is completely optional, so if you do not wish to be in the game or choose the name of a character to appear in a future title, then simply leave your gifted word out of your comments and we will not select you. We read each and every comment we get on all our titles, so none are missed. We also use these comments to help develop future titles, such as our big project, Chasing Demons, which you can now wishlist on Steam. I think I have that wishlisted, but I have to double check. If you're new to our titles, then just know that each person is given a word unique to them from each of our games, which they will then be able to combine in Chasing Demons to create a custom-tailored gaming experience specific to that individual. Which means that what appears in your playthrough of Chasing Demons may not appear in your friend's experience when they play, ensuring that each player gets their own unique version of the game. Once again, thank you all so much for your support, and we hope to see you again in the next one. Until next time, treat each other with kindness, stay positive, and always remember, it might be stormy now, but it can't rain forever. All right, everyone, that was the test reality check, and you got to learn a little bit about me. I do have to say, I really enjoy these devs games. The little personality quizzes are always, fun to play. And, they have done a lot of really good games. And like I said, I have chatted to one of the devs, that works for the company, and quite a few times on Steam. And when you take your secret word that you get at the end and you leave the comment, they do pick your name, because I actually have had them reach out to me. I gave them Azrael. And, so I'm looking forward to seeing what project my name might actually get put into. So I'm very excited about that. I'm very excited about Chasing Demons. I think it's on my wish list. I'm going to have to double check, because I thought I had done that. But, I'm going to have to check. But it's like I said, that, this is a great dev. A lot of their games are free, and other ones that you can pay for. And it's usually not a very outlandish price. And I think it's worth it, because I like to sponsor, these devs by purchasing, the game, because, you're going to get something good when you do purchase that game. And it's like I said, a lot of their games they've made free for, maybe people who are, going through a tough time or a tough spot at the moment. So I always, when a game comes out and I get a chance, I always like to purchase it to help the devs, keep their game company going, and I really, really enjoy it. So please leave me a comment down below. Tell me what you thought of the personality quiz. No questions about my character. Not allowed to ask any questions about me. But please leave me a like, subscribe if you haven't, and I'll see you next time. Bye.